Okay, I just realized this today. I've got kind of this routine, right, where I, before I get into my shop to do work and to do the flint knapping stuff, I I see the dogs, I feed the dogs, I mess around, I run around the yard a little bit, let them jump around, and I pet them and stuff, and then I go back in to wash up and come back out to my shop to start filming and or do napping and stuff like that. And I'm allergic to dogs, right? So they're always outside and stuff. So they don't really affect me when I'm in the house. So I guess I didn't realize that that routine is going to lead in just a little while to those phlegm attacks that I get where I'm coughing on video like a fool. Right? And then right now I got a runny nose too because we're babysitting this really big dog, and his particular fur or dander or whatever really affects me a lot. And I just realized, you know what? I'm starting to get those allergy symptoms, and that's what it is. It's my routine before I come in to film. I take care of the dogs and stuff, and there you go. And if just a little while I get those phlegm attacks and I'm coughing and clearing my throat and all that stuff. Anyway, what I'm doing is I'm coloring in the obsidian points in my book because it's my book. I can do what I want. Don't be so judgmental. I can erase this stuff too if I get tired of seeing it, but I want to be able to see at the glance which ones are obsidian. Well, this page they're all obsidian. Yeah, I know. It says they're all obsidian, right? I think there's not a single one that's not obsidian. Let's see all these descriptions. Napa obsidian. Whoever knows what Napa obsidian is, please let me know in the comments and stuff. I see that a lot. Okay. Anyway, I color them all in when they're obsidian because that's what I like doing. And I was going to do all this stuff off camera, but why would I? Why should I mean? It's so interesting. Anyway, as you probably guessed, I'm going to do a Stockton. I'm going to do a lot of Stocktons. Maybe not all on video, but I want to test out these needle gloves on the glass. And I probably should wear long sleeves, but you know what? I'm not going to put long sleeves on today. It's going to be hot. It's going to be a hot one. Okay. Now let's see if these... I can't focus the camera wearing the glove. That's a bummer. So what am I going to do? I guess I won't wear it on this hand unless I'm pressure flaking. Okay. See, I need to be able to refocus, zoom. See that? I can't do that with the glove on. All right. So for those of you just tuning in, I was going to do a long series of glass videos or obsidian because I've been putting this off for quite some time, and many of my viewers have been extremely patient waiting for me to do more glass and obsidian videos, and I haven't done them until now. And there's so many cool Native American obsidian types that there's a lot of material out there that I could be doing on this stuff. And the glass snappers don't have to be limited to Ishi points. There's so many other types of points out there that made of obsidian. Maybe not glass, but obsidian. Natural glass. So here we go. Still get glass flying everywhere. Right? I don't think there's such a thing as gloves that don't produce any bounce. Although I think that I'm getting used to controlling the spray of flakes from glass and obsidian by moving my finger just a little bit further down, because normally when I do this my finger is right underneath the platform, and that's just habit because of support. You know, you want to support right where you're striking instead of bridging it like this and hitting in the middle, which could cause a snap. For those of you who are new, you put your support right where you're hitting to prevent snap or radial fractures ruining your piece. However, with glass, you do that, the spray from the hit, all these shards hit the tip of your finger and come bouncing back up. So I've been learning to go a little bit further off to the side when I'm doing this. It's kind of awkward, it feels weird and stuff, but it tends to reduce the bounce back of the flakes into my face. And I'm wearing readers because I'm old, right? I don't have a prescription, so these are just, you know, Walmart magnifying type reader glasses. I gotta be crouched down looking really close at this stuff. If I back off, you can't see me back off. I can't really see. It's kind of blurry. The readers don't have that range like a prescription glasses do. Anyway, because you might be saying, well, I don't get that shower of flakes in my eyes. Okay, fine. You got better eyes than I do. Okay. You don't have to wear these goofy Walmart reader glasses. Okay. Now I'm going for a Humboldt with a lot of serrations. I don't really care which one it is on that page, but this is within the range. So, whichever one it ends up looking like, that's the one I'm making. And that's my story. Sticking to it. Okay. Why don't you nap with a bucket? I don't nap with a bucket because I hate doing that. I always bang into the bucket. I have this weird habit of putting the flaker under my knee and holding it this way and adjusting it, and my foot goes all over the place like an uncoordinated clown. I have a bucket down here. I've been looking into getting a basket, so I will give you that. Get a basket for catch all these flakes down here, but I haven't found a good one yet. It's got to be kind of flexible because I want to be able to hit it without knocking it over. So it's got to be wobbly kind of, or I don't know, baskety and flexible, so that if I hit it by accident, it's not going to fall over, like I said. If it falls over, I got to go over and pick it up and reposition and all that stuff. Anyway, what am I doing with this thing? I am trying to get it into a preform shape with direct percussion with aluminum, and I'm not using antler because I'm still looking at my abo tools. This is probably going to be delayed for a while because I do use natural materials like antler and bone and stone, you know, but I have been known to say, and please forgive me, that abo is not really that good. Yes, I have been known to say. I've been known to say that to people who have met me. They're surprised I'm not using abo when they see me nap. Some of them are, anyway. I say, well, because it's not that good. It's not that great. It's highly overrated. I don't use those exact words, but you get the idea. So it may take me a while to go back. I've been looking at my abo tools, but that's as far as it goes. I just look at them. I go, yep, that needs to be a little bit better. Yep, that composite tool could be a little bit shorter or a little bit longer. I should put a different bit on this tool. I should make a bunch of various sizes of bits and interchange. I can interchange them in this fancy handle. I should be reproducing the copper pressure flaker in Richie's book. Where is it? Do I have it? Anyway, and that kind of thing. But it's slow. I really don't like doing it. Okay. I got a stack in boxes now, which is cool, of antler. Stack of boxes with antler, bone, and what else do I have? I've got a big old warthog tusk. I've got what other stuff? I got some other pieces of ivory. I've got some gar scales. I've got all kinds of stuff stacked up in little boxes, just like I've stacked up my stone over here in boxes, and that kind of thing. So I'm excited about that. I just don't have the inclination right now to sit down and do that sort of thing. I don't know if it's me or if it's human nature or what, but if I start making tools, I have to be in that mindset of experimenting with the tools, because I had to bring over, where I'm making my tools, I bring over samples of these different materials, and I'm there chipping on it, and I'm looking at it, and I'm a new tool, and I get it out and I start using it. I do a lot of stuff off video. I'll say I can know right away if I like a tool or not, especially a flaker. I'll say, no, this is not working. I can pretty much tell right away that the learning curve is going to be longer than expected, and those are the kinds of tools that I try to avoid. So that whole process, I had to shift my whole mindset. And when I shift my whole mindset, anything that interrupts me, like if I get requested to do another knapping video right when I'm doing my tools and stuff, I don't have to do the request right away, of course, and you know, you guys understand. I don't respond immediately to all knapping requests, but it bugs me and weighs on me. So I have to wait until I'm back into the knapping mindset to get to it. And that sort of thing. It's hard for me, and it could be just me, to get into different mindsets. And once I'm in the mindset, I don't want to get out of the mindset. All right, that's all. That's it. That's all I'm going to say about that. My kids just recently watched Forrest Gump for the first time. Two of my boys, right? They hadn't seen Forrest Gump, which I don't know. They don't remember. I think they saw it when they were little. They don't remember it, right? Now they're doing Forrest Gump quotes all the time. It's driving me nuts. One of them is, that's all I'm going to say about that. It's actually a good quote, so that's where that comes from. Why do you talk when you nap? Just nap. Okay, fine. Let's see. Oops. Okay. So I'm going to talk when I nap, because this part is kind of tedious. I get in a good mood when I come out here, when I see the dogs and I play around with them and stuff. I get out here and I'm in a good mood, and then sometimes the knapping doesn't go well and the mood darkens, and I switch over to the dark side and I start fighting with the material, and I say, let's see, this is how it's going to be, huh? Oops, what did I say? So this is how it's going to be, huh? Yeah, I was taking a risk, taking it for granted that this is a really nice material, but it's not all that strong. Okay. So here we go. Let's try this again. This time a little more careful. So yeah, I do need to be more careful so I don't have to fight with this stuff. You know, I take it out on the next piece. See, I want to knap this one with more determination than ever. And you better work. I picked an easier flake, right? So, in theory, should work a little bit better. It's already pretty much in the preformed state. I think this is double flow. We'll see. It might have bands in it, it might not. Let's see. No, actually it doesn't. Okay. So this is the good stuff. I mean the really good stuff. Double flow and triple flow is good. But if you have just the smoky color one, where it's a smoky dark color, that's the best so far that I've seen. It's really good. Now the aluminum on the excuse me, the aluminum on the glass is a different feel than the iron or steel on the glass. I like it a lot. And I take it for granted that it's going to work well because it feels like it's going to work well. I think I'm going to shift over to a softer mallet. Yeah. Even though it's, I don't know. No, it seems to be working okay. I was going to say, even though it doesn't really help to release the flakes as easily, they are releasing easily. So if you use a heavier mallet, I didn't really agree with this in the beginning. A heavier tool leads to better follow through and easier initiations with less effort, right? But I didn't really like the heavier tools because they were fatiguing. Well, they are fatiguing. But I'm getting to the point where I really don't mind. I can't remember what I was just using. I just adjust automatically now. So I can't say that I really prefer one or the other. It just depends on what the material is doing. If it's resisting the initiation, or if the terminations are not being feathered out because I don't have enough power, or if they're just stopping and crushing in weird ways because there's not enough force. I shouldn't say crushing, but just stopping and stepping. I'll go and I'll use the heavier mallet. But if I want to alleviate those problems, another solution is just to use more force with the lighter mallet. Yeah, it seems to work well, and the aluminum is grippy, so I'm feeling like this is a lot more fun to do this with aluminum than it is with steel. Yeah. So we'll see how long that mood lasts. Well, it sounds like you're letting a stone tell you what mood to be in. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll give you that. I don't always listen to my brain. Sometimes I listen to the stone. Yes, that's true. It does affect my mood. It does affect, it will affect your napping. I'm not going to deny that the material will affect your napping, but you have the idea in your mind, and if it doesn't work the first time, or if you're not getting the results you want, you're going to figure out some way either to make the arrowhead out of a different material, or start experimenting with different tools and techniques to get what you want. And you're not going to do that. You're not going to switch to different tools and techniques if you're letting the stone just dictate what you are going to make. You just stick with the same tools. You go, yep, I'll just make do with what I have. If I can't really make a long stem point with nice notches, I'll just make a leaf shape and just continue to use the same tools. No problem. I mean, I guess some people's minds work that way. But if you're making these obsidian points and it's a leaf shape and it's all wobbly in the haft after just a little bit of ding here and there, and you say, man, I wish I had a better way to wrap this so it doesn't come loose as quickly. All that stuff, yada yada. You actually need to design a better point to fit within the system that you're using, the weapon system, or the projectile point technology, or the projectile technology, and that sort of thing. I keep banging into the flaker there, so you get what I'm meaning. If you let the stone just tell you what to do, technology will advance very slowly. If you let it completely determine what you're doing, technology may never advance. It may even go backward. Because you say, it's just not worth it. I'm using my maple wood billets and the stone is so difficult to knap. I'm just going to give up on knapping entirely. Instead of saying, well, why don't you use something harder? Listen to that voice in your head that's criticizing you. And switch to something that'll give you the results you want. Yep. Okay. Yeah, nice. So a heavy grind on using the aluminum doesn't seem to be too bad. Maybe I spoke too soon. Yeah, it does make it tougher to knap on the heavy grind. I should ease up on the grinding. It seems to be working well. Let's see, if I don't goof off, I may be able to get this thin down without snapping it. And make sure I'm not too heavy on the ends. If I'm too heavy on the ends, it'll snap in the middle. Yeah, I do feel it slipping a little bit on the edge. That goes for abo tools also. The antler will slip on the edge of glass and obsidian also. Don't think you're going to get away from that. Okay. So far so good. I don't feel any problems at all with this glove. There's, my fingers are kind of short, so there's still a little bit of like a pocket here, an air pocket in the tips of the fingers. But other than that, they're working good. Working well. Ouch. A little bit too aggressive there. I gotta be careful I don't overshoot these flakes. And if you've watched my recent videos, you might be asking, why are you making fun of overshots so much? I have this blade. Where is the blade? Here it is. I'm going to bring this out quite often and say, look how superior the overshot technology is. Isn't that cool? Making fun of overshots, because I'm being sarcastic. Now, why would I do that? Someone might say, the technology is not the mistake technology. It's the technology of controlled overshots, you dummy. Of course, they don't say that. They're not that nice. They usually say, you believe an idiot. It's controlled overshots that they're talking about. It's not just overshots. All right, you tell me what flake here is not controlled. They're all controlled. If you say controlled overshot flaking, you're not saying anything. Every flake here is controlled. Now, just because it looks like it feathered out nicely, whatever, and it went as far as I would, can tolerate or would like, doesn't mean that I controlled where the termination exactly is. Now, are there instances where there's a median ridge and you are controlling the depth of each? Yes, but it's not exact, right? Sometimes you'll have a little mistake. It'll go over the median ridge. You can get to the point where you're controlling the termination on these flakes to a large extent. But there's a percentage. It's never 100%. It's like 70 or 80 or 90, maybe even 99% in some cases. But they're all controlled to some extent, right? All the flakes are controlled to some extent. That's what knapping is. So saying that you have controlled overshots is not saying anything. It's like saying controlled step fracturing. If I put the step in a certain spot, does that mean I controlled where that step went? Well, no, because steps are bad. Yes, okay, fine. It's a bad example. It's not a very good comparison. But I see overshots as being bad, not good. If I wanted to take a piece of this edge off, I knap this edge. I don't shoot from the other side to get this edge off. To me, that's ridiculous. Now, in the course of trying to flatten a piece by sending flakes as far across as I can, if I get an overshot and I can tolerate it, okay, fine. I don't intentionally want to do it though, because it messes up my other edge. Not only doesn't leave me an opportunity for width to create a platform, but it may actually create an edge that I don't like, or it could lead to a disaster like this, where it doesn't go all the way across and then take a little bit off the edge and then I giggle, hee hee hee, it's okay. No, sometimes it'll dive into a major section of the point and take more off than I need. Okay, so I'll get off of that and I'll continue on the next segment. Okay, so I think we can switch to pressure. I can switch to pressure now. I did bring back out my wrought iron pressure flaker because I cannot find the one that I was using that had the nail with the correct pressure flaking tip. I have this one, but it's got a spatula tip that I use for flexibility. I have this little copper one with, I like the longer tip so I can use the pad easier. So I brought back my little wrought iron pressure flaker for now. Actually, I might have a stash of aluminum tools with another pressure flaker. I found this one here, but this one's so worn down that I can't use it effectively. Okay, so here we go. Coming out of retirement for one more fight. How's that? Let's see. The Humboldts are not nearly this wide, so I got plenty of room. And in this case, let me get the focus right, and then I can use the other glove to see how this works. In case you're wondering, I get flakes between the flaker and my hand, right? They get in between here, and when I apply pressure, sometimes it drives a flake into my skin. That's one thing. Also, of course, this glove helps to prevent the flakes from gathering in this little pocket here and then causing trouble. Okay. It doesn't prevent it, it just prevents it from cutting. They'll still gather in that pocket. Now, I could be... Why don't you use an antler pressure flaker? Yeah, it could be. Just because I don't want to. Right now. It wouldn't be hard to just get a tine and start doing this. But like I said, I'm not in the mindset for the abo right now. And that one video that I made where it had abo on one side and iron and steel on the other side, that was quite annoying to make. The more of those I make, of course, the less annoying they get, because you get used to it, right? But that was very annoying. Why was it annoying? Because I wasn't sure if I was forcing the abo to imitate the steel and vice versa. One thing about the subconscious mind is you don't really know what it's up to. So I couldn't really tell if I was forcing one to look like the other. And if that was happening, then the whole thing is pointless. The whole exercise is pointless. Because then you don't see if there's innate differences. You know, if you're forcing one to look like the other, are you able to see the actual differences in the techniques and what the actual differences are? No, you don't. So then there's a question of whether we can actually make comparisons. Am I being biased when I'm saying, well, antler is better for blah, blah, blah. It feels better than yada, yada, yada. Is it a completely subjective thing where I'm thinking that it's like that, but it really is what I'm making it to be? It's a philosophical question in some ways. In some ways, you have to know how the brain works before you can actually answer that question. So I need to focus a little better on the pressure flaking. I'm getting weird terminations because I'm working with this different pad. Usually I work with a hard pad, right? I'm not sure how many times I've used a soft pad with obsidian. Let's see. Let's just try this aluminum pressure flaker. I should be able to get more of a feather termination on these instead of these little step terminations. Yeah, okay. I can grip the edge. Yeah, I can grip the edge better with the aluminum. Okay. And these gloves are working very well. I'm not feeling any flakes going down in here, down into the glove itself. There's no, I don't feel any flakes in between the flaker and my hand. So awesome. Very nice. Okay, so if I can focus on this instead of having to worry about the flakes. Focus on the task at hand. Yeah, the aluminum allows me to do a nice brush on the edge, a brushing on the edge, whereas the steel is more crushy, it seems. I gotta be careful though with the squishy pad that I don't snap the whole thing. Alright, so this is just going to be another tedious episode with lots of pressure flaking. Some people like the sound of the pressure flaking. I kind of like it as well. But it annoys me if there's crunching going on. So it actually raises my anxiety if I hear a lot of crunching going on. I don't know if it's the same for you guys. There's a little step fracture right there. It's hard to see the surface with this color obsidian. That didn't even grind where I wanted it to. Let's see. Maybe I should just focus on using the aluminum to scratch the edge to prepare it. Let's try that. Yeah, good. This obsidian is so nice. Yes, yes, yes. It works really well. Heck, you never know. I might start liking it more than regular stone. That would be weird. I got some good gloves. I got some good obsidian, good pressure flaker. Heck, I might start growing on me, this obsidian stuff. We'll see. Yep. All right. So when do I know when to start the serration process? I've got to wait till it gets to the good dimension, to a reasonable dimension, and yeah, the reasonable is subjective. I don't really know for sure exactly. Just when I think that it can fall within the range of the points that I'm seeing in the book, that sort of thing. And new guys, a lot of times they ask questions that experienced knappers really don't think about too much. Like, I'm not really thinking about, okay, when am I going to start putting serrations in? Right now I'm focusing on the general overall shape that I've already determined in my mind where it should be. What shape should it actually be? What's the range that I need? And I'll use the book to help guide me, right? So I'm well within range of, all of these points. So I'm still pretty large as far as I still have plenty of room. If I make a mistake on the edge, or if I do something to screw up break off the tip, or do something to mess it up, I still have plenty of room. That's what I mean by that. And when it gets down to a certain dimension that I think is starting to get too small, that's when I say, okay, we gotta put in some serrations and wrap it up. No matter how thick it might be at the time, you just go, oh well, it's a little bit too thick, but oh well, I don't have much choice. Let's see here. Soft pad should allow me to drive longer flakes, and apparently it is working to allow me to drive longer flakes. I just got to make sure that I don't squish it too much. Well, that was not long. If I squish it too much, it might snap the whole point. It is getting thinner with each pass, if I'm doing this right. At least the edge is. The median ridge might be the same, but the edge is getting thinner. And that does weaken the whole structure of the point. Just because it has a median ridge doesn't mean it's very, very strong. Yeah, I'm liking how it can scratch the edge Okay. No problems. The only thing is it might not be in focus. I'm gonna start looking at the symmetry, and in my mind I've got to make sure there's enough room for the serrations. The serrations are easier to put in when the edge is very thin. Now it's not difficult to get the edge thin, but you have to make sure you do it before you drive a lot of these flakes into the middle. Because when you have a thin edge, you're gonna have to thicken it to get the flakes to travel far and to prevent crushing. I got a bunch of little crushes right there. That's not good. All right, so, and also as the edge becomes more delicate, I tend to have to sharpen my pressure flaker. I'm sure it can be done with a thicker point. But I tend to reduce the size of the pressure flaker as the edge gets thinner and thinner. Okay. Now I don't need to get it very thin, right? The cross section on a lot of these is biconvex, which means they're kind of fat. So a median ridge might be a good tactic. Although, yeah, the step fracturing, the soft pad is not preventing those. Although, you know, you never know. It might be preventing like 90% of the step fractures in the middle. I can't be too forceful with these flakes because it looks like it will step fracture anyway, even with the soft pad. Trying to eliminate those step fractures from the other side. But it seems like if the flake is encountering any resistance, it'll stop. Any resistance at all. Well, that's why these guys are using slotted pads, so there is absolutely no contact. Yep. I think that's true. I think that there's something to be said for not having any contact at all. those flakes should be traveling all the way over. And I'm still getting that step right there. You try and cheat and push on those steps, right? Yeah, no, it's not gonna. It's not. It's not gonna work right. Let's see. Yeah, so there has to be a deliberate effort to get rid of the step fractures in the middle. It looks like I'm going to have a deliberate effort to do that. Not that it looks all that bad. It's just I should be able to not get those. If I was any good at this. That's another thing, you know, how do you know how good you are at flint knapping if you're not able to match the idea you have in your head? You know, how do you judge how good you are in flint knapping? You know, if you have an idea, you set out to do it, and you're able to do it, even in the face of very difficult challenges with the stone and the tools. And that's the way you know you're skillful, if you can overcome those obstacles. There is no obstacle if you just go with the flow, right? I mean, there's no problem. If you just go with the flow and do what the stone tells you, well, there's skill in knowing what the stone tells you. Okay. Yeah, but you don't know. I mean, there's no basis for, you know, compared to what? There's no basis to compare it to. Okay, let's see. You know, your success is based on what you have in your mind and then what you end up with. The closer you end up with something that matches with what you have in your mind, the more successful you are. Or the more mastery you have of your skill. Yeah, I may just leave those in there. I'm starting to get worried about breaking the whole thing. I could just go to a harder pad right now, but then I might mess up my nice flake pattern with the interference that will probably result from the harder pat. So I'll leave it kind of thick. Yes, I can still send in some flicks to clean it up. I think I'm going to need to sharpen this a little bit more. The obsidian wears this down fast. Okay, where are the problem areas? There's one right there. One right there. There's a thick spot right here. Oops. Yeah, got to make sure that edge is strong. Yep, I'm just going to have to live with some of those little steps in the middle. I'm sure eventually there's a way to do it. I'll get that later. I'll do the tip last. Right now, I'll just focus on getting those thick spots thinned down so I can do the serrations and have a nice, even, symmetrical point as far as the thickness goes. Probably overthinking this a little bit. But I'm liking this combination of tools and pad and gloves. So I'm taking it a little further than I normally would. I normally don't care this much about the flake pattern or the cosmetic result, because it can get distracting. Okay, yeah, it's getting very, very close to the preform stage, and I think I'm going to put the serrations in after I do this one final thing here. See if I can't at least get rid of the powdery looking steps. Do it gradually as I work my way up, eliminating steps with the next flake. Oops. Losing a lot of mass quickly. Just lost some of the tip on that one. Yeah, I'm trying to thin down the tip at least a little bit. I think my flaker is still a little bit too dull, not sharp enough. I'll try to make it work. That flake ended up behind me. I heard it. These flakes can bounce all around. Alright, so that's good for now. I'll continue on the next segment. Okay, so I got the preform. Well, I don't know what you call it just before the serrations are put in. I would say, yeah, preform. So let's see what happens. This is going to be fun in parentheses because I can't see very well. I think I might leave my glove off for this stage so I can make sure everything's in focus. All right, so let me think here. I don't have a spatula tool in aluminum, so let me think here. I want to flake these serrations with a spatula tool, and I want to try aluminum. Since I've been doing mostly aluminum as I'm going along, I'll just flatten this one, I guess. Since I'm retiring this flaker anyway. And yes, I know I'm supposed to go in one direction. I'm an uncoordinated fool. keep it on the file easier if I just ride the file back and forth. Kind of need a round file. I don't want this to be wedge shaped. I want it to be straight sided for at least a little bit. Yeah, if the file was rounded, I could, scoop out each side. But we'll just work with what I got. Okay, good enough. All right, this time I need to use the hard pad so I can see what I'm doing. Do the checks. What I'm doing now is I'm doing the checks, making sure I don't have anything that could pop up and distract me from this. All right, so we'll see. It doesn't. The spot where the serrations start is kind of arbitrary. Some start pretty low. I'm looking back at the book. Okay, so this is kind of tedious. So let's talk about dumb stuff again. I'll get a good lesson in how to notch, at least the way I do it. And it's just a series of notches, shallow notches. Try to keep the bottom of the notches lined up. And it's pretty straightforward because it's square on the top. I don't need to sharpen these serrations to little points. They stay squared off. You start off larger at the base, at the bottom, and progressively get smaller. Maybe already too small. This distance here, this distance here probably should be larger, so it looks like I'm descending in the dimension. Yeah, these are all kind of wonky anyway, these serrations. They're not perfect. which is good. As I look back in the book, there's a lot of variation. So it's just as long as they get put in without too much crunching going on. Because crunching always means dulling. It's got to be some nice pop outs. Nice snaps. A snap means a sharp edge. A crunch means a uh-oh. Cue the uh-oh song or the oh no song. If you watch a bunch of reels, I've been watching a bunch of reels lately, and they play that uh-oh song a lot, or the oh no song. I'm not going to sing it. It drives me nuts. I'll tell you right now, it is easier to do this with antler. Antler grips it better. Yeah, I'm just going to leave that one alone. So yeah, I'm just doing this over and over and over. I could cheat, right, and use a little steel in the bottom of the notches. How's that? Yeah, need a little bit of cheating. Wouldn't be a good video without a shortcut or two. All right, so if I find a white powdery area, the bottom of that notch, that annoying white powdery, there it is. See on these two? It's stalled slightly. I may be able to take the steel and pop out something with a little snap. And get rid of it, right? That's the theory. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to work. Might already be too late. If it's already stalled, it's already stalled, and I might be making it worse. Yeah, I think I'm making it worse actually with the steel. All right. I could take a hint. It's too quiet out there. Sometimes we get hawks that come by looking for birds to catch, and all the birds go quiet. Like when you watch one of those old vampire movies and the vampire's in the area, all the crickets go silent. Sometimes that hawk comes by and you don't hear a peep or a rustle or a stir at all. There's nothing going on, and you really don't notice the absence of sound unless you're out here all the time. Once in a while, I'll notice it and I'll go, okay, where is he? Where is the hawk? Where is that bird of prey? And sometimes I can find him. Hanging out at the top of a telephone pole somewhere along the alleyway. So usually we have our utility lines in the alleyway. They usually hang out in one of those poles instead of the poles near the main street. Once in a while, you'll see a dummy mockingbird trying to pester the hawk to get him to go away. Now, if that's not a dumb bird, I don't know what is. I've seen mockingbirds get extremely close to birds of prey, and the bird of prey will just go peck at it. Like, you know, get close enough, I'm going to bite your head off. And your mockingbird flies off and then comes back, starts to move close to the hawk, and starts to do his little thing, his little dance or his little intimidation maneuvers. And the hawk just goes snap. It's the funniest thing in the world. Okay, so anyway, I'm getting too off into another subject and I'm losing track of the napping. I got too close with that. I'm not leaving enough space at the top of the serration. See, that serration is a little bit too pointy right there. But I do see some pointy ones on there, but they're not, it's not all that common, so I messed up on that one. See, this side of the serration blew off. It should be, you know, more square. Oh well. Crunchy, crunchy. Not good. Crunchy's only good with breakfast cereal. Although I don't eat it anymore. No more breakfast cereals for me. Let's see now. Maybe that's why your anxiety is so high. No, nope, nope. Anxiety is actually much better with a much healthier diet in general. As long as I'm not trying to nap obsidian on the tip of a point. Because tips always give me trouble. I didn't thin it down before I started, that's the thing. I said I'm going to leave the tip for last, and then it ended up being neglected. So now I got to thin it. Let's see. I guess I could use the same flicker, although now I ruined it because it's a spatula tip now. It's not actually ruined, it's just harder to use. Why is it harder? Since I've used spatula tips on tips of my workpieces before, this one is not flexible. It doesn't have the advantage of flexibility. It's just still a little too thick. You know what? The serrations don't go all the way to the top anyway. So I can just stop there. But I do need to work on thinning the tip just so I can show it on video. Slippery, slippery. I don't know. It's about the same slippery as steel. when I'm doing it like this, I'm just pushing on the surface. If I'm biting into the edge a little bit, it's better than steel, but just pressing on the surface, it's very slippery. Yeah, I want to get rid of that. I don't care if it looks weird. I want to get rid of that little white powdery area, and I got it. All right, so here we go. Now we can do the other side. You can go to sleep. I'll wake you up in a little bit. Don't need to see this part. We already went through it on the other edge. The rest of this time is going to be devoted to listening to me breathe into the microphone. How's that? That's what you always do. Yeah, that's what I always do. Sometimes I watch the videos and I say, man, I was breathing into the microphone there. Or somehow I made a noise and now the voice volume is all messed up. I need to start using my expensive lapel microphone on every video. And then I realized, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to charge that little sucker and test that little pain in the butt. Make sure it's working properly, got the right buttons pushed on it. Make sure I didn't accidentally move the settings. And then make sure it's not in the way. Make sure something's not in the way of the microphone, scratching up against it. All that jazz. That lapel microphone is only when I'm far away from the camera. And that's it. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get away from every powdery little step fracture. Let's see. Now, if I try pushing on that, it just deposits a little bit of aluminum, makes it look even worse. Now I know why they space these out, because you can easily, if you wanted a square look to the tops of these serrations, you need to space them out because it's so easy to blow away the edges. See that? This one's pointy. If I had spaced it out more, it would have been better, like this over here. Anyway, you didn't see that. You didn't notice that. And I didn't point it out just then. Yeah. Just ignore it. No one will notice. The tarantula gloves are kind of fuzzy, so I can't really see everything. I had to nitpick and make a fuss about the gloves, is the only thing I can think of is the fuzziness. Otherwise, they're fantastic. Yeah, that fuzziness isn't really bothering me. I suppose I could take my lighter and burn those off, right? Yeah, try it on video, try it on video. I want to see that. I'm distracting myself and getting all these white powdery areas. I'm not being as careful on this side as the first side. Either that or this edge is just thicker than the other edge. Yeah, I can use that as my story. My excuse is this edge is fatter and thicker than the other edge. So it's stalling easier, causing the white powdery look to the bottom of the notches. Anyway, almost done. Yeah, the tips are not perfect on these, so I'm going to call that good. Now, is it asymmetrical? No, they got... Well, yes, some of them are asymmetrical, but I can't tell if it's damage or it's the actual technique. Some of those obsidian points in the book are slightly damaged, it looks like. So there you go. And there are ways to, you can apply wax or oil to those steppy areas that look all powdery, and it gets rid of that look. But I never add wax or any kind of oil to my points. It's just an extra step that I don't take. Not because it's not effective, not because it's not cool. They are modern made anyway, so what's the big deal? No, I just don't do it because of the time. It's a little bit of an extra thing. But yeah, a lot of glass snappers have their techniques on how to make their points look nice and beautiful at the end. Finish up, pop out all those little fingernail step fractures, coat it with a wax or something, or dip it in some kind of solution to make it look better and all pretty. I'm not that good yet. Nice translucent point. This is a... If someone knows the name of this type of obsidian, you may have already told me, but I just keep forgetting. This is a larger than the average Humboldt. No, is it Humboldt? Stockton. These are Stockton points. So it's a little bit larger than most of these. But I think I'm within range. I'm just going to say that I am. As far as the cross section, I think I'm within range. That's cheating, the curved one. You cheated. Yeah, okay, so I think I'm close. And if I didn't show the front of this book in the beginning, this is what it is. I know I'm going to get that question. All right. So there you go. Let's see what let's see how the foreshaft likes it. Oh, it likes it. Let's ask Mikey. He eats everything. Okay, Mikey. Hey, Mikey. He likes it. You boomers know what I'm talking about with that reference. I'll say that and my kids have no idea what I'm talking about. It's a commercial for Life cereal, I think. And you can look it up. It is on YouTube. Yeah, that would work. Now, Stocktons, they are at ladle dart points. Let me see. Age and cultural affiliation. Late prehistoric period, perhaps dating just before 8700 to 1100. That's just at the transition of the use of the bow. So, well, let's see. I don't know. I'll have to read more about that. This type is still poorly known, and the description provided above needs to be refined when larger samples of this type become available. One example with heavy serrations only on one side of the blade is shown embedded in a bone from a site in Sacramento County, indicating use as a spear or arrow tip. So these can be either arrow or at-ladle dart tips, apparently. Very interesting. Very interesting. Not much is known, so if I say something, it may or may not be wrong. So I have plausible deniability. Yeah, just kidding. All right, so there it is. Aluminum, right? I use aluminum for most of this. Okay, that's it.